Promoter Eddie Hearn says he doesn't feel it is realistic for Canelo Alvarez to fight with such little time before September 12th. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to my Patreon. I got a lot of stuff coming. It's going down. We're doing the group sessions. Head over to Patreon or hit the join button below in this video, and it does help the channel. Well. It's looking like Ego Stradamus has struck again. Eddie Hearn doesn't believe Canelo is going to fight September 12th. He says it's kind of pushing it. And ironically enough, his fighters are in the conversation as potential opponents for Canelo. And basically, he did an interview, link in the description, with the lack of time and where they're at in negotiations with at least his fighters. He doesn't see it happening. With my trusted assistant, Money Penny, I'm going to go over what he said, let you guys hear it, and, I'll give my thoughts afterwards.
Eddie Hearn on Canelo. The 12th I see as a non-starter. We haven't heard that officially, but it is 6 weeks this Saturday. Even 2 weeks ago, September 12th started to look unrealistic. The event organizers don't need the preparation that they used to have. We always wanted to get out 8 or 9 weeks before so we could get out and market the event and sell tickets, but really it is only the fighters that need that notice now. We have put 4 names forward for Canelo. They are all training as if they might get the call for September 12th. Because that is not out of the question that all of a sudden you get the call. We have had discussions about the money. We are a little bit out. We are not a million miles away, Hearn said. But I think it is more about the logistics for Canelo or how that person money is going to work. The fascination with Canelo is I must fight May 4th or September 12th, but no one even cares about that at the moment. If I am Canelo, I am waiting until November to see if I can get some kind of crowd back. He does want to fight. He hasn't boxed since November last year. He wants to fight Callum Smith. To be fair to Canelo, because Callum has the Super WBA title and the Ring Magazine Championship. So for him it's like if I beat Callum Smith I am the Ring Magazine champion. I am the number 1 in the division, but he is the most expensive of all the options.
End quote. So he says he thinks September 12th could be a non-starter. It's not impossible. He still has guys that are rumored to fight Canelo training just on the off chance that they get the call. Listen, this sounds like a big, huge mess. Canelo's lawyer did an interview with ESPN, and they said that DAZN is holding up the fight. Canelo, he's posting stuff, smiling, but I know he's not happy. How can you be happy? And this is the 2nd September, back-to-back Septembers. You're a Mexican fighter who claimed that they wanted to fight on the Mexican dates, and between you and the people you have appointed, DAZN as a platform, and also your promoter, GoldenBoy, and your just overall team, it looks like he might go another September without being able to fight. And I predicted this. We'll see if it's true. Eddie Hearn is now corroborating that it's looking more and more unlikely. And each passing day that goes on without Canelo announcing his opponent is a bad look. It's not going to be realistic. GoldenBoy and Eddie Hearn have both suggested that since we're in a pandemic, you're not selling tickets, you kind of don't have a rush. But I disagree with that. It's still a fight. Fighters have to make weight. Fighters have to have proper time to train. And the fans have to believe that Canelo's opponent has a chance. So if you wait to the last minute and belabor the point, and the guy has 4 or 5 weeks to train before officially being finalized, then Canelo's a good fighter. In people's mind, they're not going to believe that the guy has a chance when he has really what would be considered half of a camp. The average boxing camp for a pro level elite fight against a big name would probably be 8 to 10 weeks. Some people even go 12 weeks, depending on the person or depending on how much weight you have to drop and stuff like that. So This is just a bad look if Canelo doesn't fight in September. Another caveat or dilemma is Mike Tyson announced that he's fighting on that date against Roy Jones Jr., albeit it's exhibition. It don't matter because it's still Roy Jones, the most dominant middleweight of my childhood and the most dominant heavyweight of my childhood, like the biggest global stars. Meanwhile, Canelo's team looks like they're fumbling, trying to get another September in the sack. Like, realistically speaking, just break this down. Actually break this down after a moment from my affiliate. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm rich." And Manny Pacquiao, "Yes, it's up to my promoter. Just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego, signing off. So if you really think about it, just unpack this. Canelo, for several times in 3 fights in a row, said he wanted to fight on the Mexican dates. And if he doesn't fight this September, this will be the 3rd date in a row that the alleged face of boxing has to back out off the date. Last September, his team was negotiating with Kovalev, couldn't reach an agreement on money. Then they switched to Derevyanchenko, so that was kind of a 2-1. Then they switched after spending so much time with Kovalev in his main events and top ranking his team, and all for that to fall apart and Kovalev to go on to fight Anthony Yard, a fight he almost lost, right? They switched to Sergey Derevyanchenko. And in the Sergey Derevyanchenko fight, they only had a small window because that was Canelo's mandatory. They didn't meet the deadline, so Canelo got stripped of that belt. So that didn't look good. So you had 2 opponents, none of which you could agree to on terms of get on point with the money. And now that September fight got canceled. So he fought in November against Kovalev after Kovalev again narrowly escaped Yard. Then this May, he was scheduled to fight Billy Joe Saunders. They never officially announced the fight. Keep that in mind. They never officially announced the fight. And allegedly they were going to announce it the week of the pandemic. The pandemic shut everything down. So the fight was rumored and it was getting close and they had the T-Mobile booked, but it was never officially announced. So GoldenBoy and Canelo's team, they just seem to drag their feet. That's 2. And then the 3rd one is if Mike Tyson and Roy Jones taking the date and GoldenBoy and Canelo dragging their feet, not getting an opponent for September, then that'll be the 3rd fight in a row. 3rd fight in a row that the face of boxing doesn't get to fight on his selected date. Nobody told Canelo to fight on the Mexican dates. He wanted to, right? He had an opportunity to beat Floyd for those dates because Floyd customarily had fought on those dates. He came up short. And that's not even to mention, that's just his last 3 fights. That's not even mentioning the Cinco de Mayo where he failed a drug test and he couldn't fight Golovkin in a rematch and that got canceled. So Canelo, it's been so disastrous, especially since signing to DAZN, but especially with these dates. When Mayweather said, I want to fight in May and September, and consecutive year upon year after year, everybody just got out the way and the universe got out the way and Mayweather fought on those dates. Canelo claims he wanted those dates and they were so muy importante and he needed those dates, but he hasn't been able to fulfill those dates. Every single time it's something. Failed a drug test, Cinco de Mayo fight canceled. September, couldn't agree to Kovalev or Derevyanchenko. They claim you were lowballed or they were lowballed. Fight fell apart. This year, Billy Joe Saunders never gets announced. then the pandemic ruins, all the live events. And if he doesn't fight this September, it's going to be more of the same. Like, what is his team doing? Like, I just need questions answered. What is his team doing? This is supposed to be the face of boxing. This is who DAZN shelled out the big bucks for. How can't they get a fight for him? It's looking ugly, man. Not to mention there's rumored beef with GoldenBoy and a couple of their fighters, including Canelo, stuff like that. It's just a bad look. And now Eddie Hearn, he's saying this, he thinks it's a non-starter, which is what I've been telling you. When I said it, y'all said I was hating. So we'll see. We'll see what Canelo and his team can come up with. GoldenBoy has to stop citing that we're in a pandemic, because it looks pitiful, in my opinion. It looks pathetic. They just keep saying, I've seen Bernard Hopkins say it. I've heard Roberto Diaz say it in an ESPN interview that I read. Nobody cares. We're all in a pandemic, See, the thing that makes it look bad is if we're in such a pandemic, right? And because of no live gate and live audience, then why didn't Canelo just bow down from the date to begin with and say, yo, there's too much going on, too little time. We're in a pandemic. We don't know when crowds can come back. They still told reporters that the target date was September 12th. So that's their fault, because that's what makes it look sloppy and disorganized and messy, because he's tried to stay true to these dates. And now he got like 6 weeks to try to make an opponent pop. And you have to worry about another all-American type of, with an exhibition fight between Tyson and Roy Jones. It just looks ugly. It looks real ugly. So I'm not accepting the pandemic as an excuse. Everybody's in the pandemic. Showtime rolled out a monstrous schedule despite the pandemic. Nobody can control the pandemic, but the show must go on and business has to go on per usual. Canelo is popular. He's a great fighter. If GoldenBoy, they don't even have that big of a stable of stars. So if they had to take care of anybody, Canelo seems like the person that you would absolutely facilitate his fight and situate before you worry about anybody's fights. It's looking sloppy and bad business. Ryan Garcia yesterday on his social media, he's announcing the fight, right? And I promise you, this is a freestyle video. He's announcing that he's fighting Luke Campbell, and he's saying, hey, it's on. Hey, to all my 7 million followers, it's on. But then if I go to GoldenBoy Promotions, they're not saying nothing about it. So, and there's reports that came out from sources. Look, they don't say nothing about Ryan Garcia fighting Luke Campbell for sure. Now, I know that's what they could be working towards, but it just looks pretty chaotic and disorganized when your fighter is claiming his opponent and the network, DAZN, I bet you they haven't said nothing either. DAZN ain't saying nothing. Where does it say anything about Ryan Garcia fighting against Luke Campbell for sure? But then you have the fighter going AWOL and rogue and announcing the fight. Your biggest star is Canelo Alvarez, right? And it looks like he's going to lose his date yet again. A Mexican fighter lose the quote unquote Mexican date that he demanded from boxing. And then you have Senicia Estrada, and they put her in with this girl that built a padded record off of fighting strippers. That's what they said. They said a lot of her 5 opponents were strippers with no experience, little to no experience in boxing. And then this 7-second, look at Ivan Redcash. He said this grandma is 42 years old. So Senicia Estrada, she's a beast, but she was made to be criticized because GoldenBoy put her in there with that person, and the state commission approved it. It just looks real messy. It looks real messy. And if I was Canelo, I would be absolutely livid right now, because how are you the face of boxing and other people, their fights are being announced before you, business as usual? Again, I'm not accepting the pandemic did this and stuff, because Canelo hasn't fought in May. That got canceled for obvious reasons. last September, it was the same thing. You went through Kovalev and Derevyanchenko. All of those fights fell apart. So it's just history repeating itself. So we can't say there was no pandemic last year that the world knew about. There were still live audiences. So what happened there? Look at the patterns. Kovalev said he was lowballed. Derevyanchenko said he didn't like the money. He was lowballed. Caleb Smith and Billy Joe Saunders earlier this year before the pandemic said they were lowballed. Now Eddie Hearn saying he doesn't think it's realistic that Canelo fights in September. You know, he might have to push it back. And he's saying that they're not too far off on money, but they're not where it's at, you know, what Caleb Smith wants. And he's saying Caleb Smith is the most expensive option because he's a champion with the belt and he's undefeated. I mean, you tell me what's up, what's going on, why it looks so disorganized. And for all the fans that come to my channel to read the title and get mad at what I'm saying, prove me wrong. That's all. That's all you have to do. Don't say nothing else. If this looks organized and professional, the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, please explain. Please explain how he keeps going September, May, September. This will be his 4th May or September where he gets pushed off the date for some reason, be it failed drug tests, be it pandemic or failed negotiations for lowballing people. Not a good look. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.